Today his paintings sell for millions. His swirling skies, blazing fields, and haunting portraits hang in the world's greatest museums. But in his lifetime, Vincent van Gogh sold only a handful of works. He died poor, tormented, and unknown. His story is one of passion and pain, brilliance and despair. A journey of a man who saw the world differently and painted it like no one else before him. Vincent van Gogh was born in 1853 in the Netherlands. From the start, his life was shaped by contradiction. He was the son of a pastor, raised in a strict household, but he was restless, emotional, and endlessly searching for meaning. As a young man, he tried many paths: teacher, bookseller, even missionary. But in each, he failed. The world seemed to reject him, yet within him burned a need to create. At the age of 27, Vincent decided to become an artist. It was a late beginning, and he had no formal training, but he threw himself into his work with relentless intensity. He studied, he copied, he sketched. His early works were dark and heavy. Peasants bent over fields, miners in shadow, faces lined with hardship. Paintings like the Potato Eaters revealed not beauty, but struggle. For Vincent, art was not decoration. It was true. In 1886, Van Gogh moved to Paris. There, everything changed. He discovered the Impressionists: Monet, Degas, Renoir. And their world of color and light. He met young painters like Paul Gauguin and Emile Bernard, who opened new doors. Vincent's palette exploded. Browns and grays gave way to yellows, blues, and reds. He painted city streets, sunlit gardens. His brushstrokes grew bolder, more alive. In Paris, Van Gogh found his voice, but the city also overwhelmed him. The noise, the competition, the loneliness. Vincent longed for peace, for a place to create without distraction. In 1888, he moved south to Arles, in the south of France. There, surrounded by sunflowers and starry skies, he entered his most creative period. In just 15 months, he produced hundreds of paintings, vibrant landscapes, glowing still lifes, portraits alive with color, works that today define him. In Arles, Vincent dreamed of building an artist's community. He invited his friend Paul Gauguin to join him. For a time, the two painters worked side by side, pushing each other, arguing, creating. But their partnership was fragile. Their personalities clashed. Vincent's intensity against Gauguin's independence. The tension grew unbearable. One night, after a violent quarrel, Vincent's mind broke. In a moment of despair, he mutilated his own ear. The dream was over. Gauguin left. Vincent was alone. From then on, Vincent's life was a battle between creation and collapse. He was hospitalized in Arles, then admitted himself to an asylum. Insane. Yet even in confinement, he painted. Some of his most famous works were born in this period: Irises, The Bedroom, and The Starry Night. Swirls of blue and gold, visions of a mind both tormented and inspired. For Vincent, painting was survival, his way of holding on to the world. In 1890, Vincent moved to Auvers-sur-Oise, near Paris, under the care of Dr. Paul Gauguin. For a time, he seemed better. He painted the wheat fields, the village streets, the people around him. But inside, the storm continued. On July 27, 1890, Vincent shot himself in a wheat field. He died 2 days later, at the age of 37. Beside him was his brother Theo, who had supported him through every struggle. Vincent left behind more than 2,000 works, and a legacy no one yet understood. In his lifetime, Van Gogh was dismissed as a failure, even a madman. But in the years after his death, his art was rediscovered. His letters revealed the depth of his thought, the tenderness behind his turmoil. Critics and collectors began to see what Vincent had seen: a vision of the world raw, honest, and alive. Today, he is hailed as one of the greatest artists in history. Not in spite of his suffering, but perhaps because of it. Vincent van Gogh's story is not only about art, it is about the human soul. Fragile, searching, and unyielding, he turned his pain into color, his loneliness into light. And though he died believing himself a failure, his paintings continue to speak across centuries, to remind us of beauty, of struggle, of the fine line between despair and genius. Vincent van Gogh, the tragedy of a genius and the triumph of vision.